What is good, Raider Nation? Is your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Las Vegas Raiders in the 2024 NFL Draft did not address the quarterback situation in the first 7 rounds of the draft, even after all the hype and speculation of a potential first round talent quarterback coming in the building. And this leaves the Raiders with a quarterback room of veteran journeyman Gardner Minshew and second-year quarterback Aidan O'Connell. Now, Gardner Minshew throughout his career has some respectable numbers. He has played in 49 games, has thrown for nearly 10,000 passing yards, 59 touchdown passes, and 24 interceptions. Aidan O'Connell, on the other hand, there's not a lot of NFL film on him. He went 5-4 as a starter last season under Antonio Pierce. And Aidan O'Connell just didn't get a full season's worth of tape to analyze, but he did play in 10 different games last season where he threw for a little over 2,200 yards in the air, completed 62% of his passes, and threw for 12 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. So when you look at the stat line alone, in my opinion, it's not really anything to be super impressed about. I mean, they're solid numbers, but by no means are they great. And if we remove those touchdown passes that he had against that miserable LA Chargers game in that Thursday Night Football beatdown, his stats look even less impressive. But to be fair, I gotta paint the whole picture. Aidan O'Connell was a 4th round rookie quarterback, and he was not put in a great position to succeed last season. First, the offense was essentially a Josh McDaniels playbook. Even though he ended up getting fired, we still had to use his playbook and overall scheme. Our offensive coordinator was a rookie at that position as well, and unfortunately, our offensive line struggled for the majority of the season. So when you add in all these factors into the mix, there is a case to be made that Aidan O'Connell did pretty well considering the circumstances last season. But today I wanted to break down some film of Gardner Minshew and Aidan O'Connell and just show the differences between these two and what they would bring to the Raiders offense. So without further ado, let's jump right into the tape. Now here on this first play against the Las Vegas Raiders, Gardner Minshew, we're going to see some good pocket awareness from him. Here he's able to step up after defensive ends crash off the edge, and he does a good job keeping his eyes down the field and is able to throw this pass on the move, hits his man right in stride for a big gain right here. In the second play we're going to analyze here, we're going to see Minshew shows that he can make those deep throws down the field. He's able to hit his man on this throw outside the numbers, and he hits him right in stride right here. Now, one issue I did see with Minshew though, with his deep passes, are the fact that he's not consistent with it, especially when hit with pressure like we see on this rep. He doesn't get a chance to fully set his feet, and he relies solely on his arm on this throw, and he just doesn't have the arm strength and velocity to make this a catchable football. It is way underthrown, and it was essentially like a sitting duck type of interception for the Jaguars defense. Now on this play, this is another example of what Minshew can do when things go wrong and he's forced to improvise. Now he has to do a better job not dropping the snap for starters, but he shows once again that he can use his legs to navigate in the pocket. He moves up and he keeps his eyes down the field and makes the throw along the sideline. Inside the red zone too, he shows that he can make tacklers miss like we see on this rep right here. And here he's just able to use his legs to punch it in the end zone. Now on this next rep, he's going to move in the pocket, but he has to do a better job with his ball security. He ends up coughing this up. And I noticed throughout his career, he has 34 total fumbles, and 17 of those were lost fumbles. So fumbles that the defense were able to recover. So honestly, for a guy that's only started in about 49 games, those numbers are a little too high for my liking. Here on this next rep against the Steelers, this is a really impressive play from him where he is able to step up in the pocket to avoid the rush, and once again he has his eyes down the field, and here on third down he's going to keep going backwards to try and buy as much time as possible for a receiver to get open down the field. And if we freeze this right here too, I mean, nobody is open on this play, but what I love is how Gardner Minshew is able to see the whole field, and I just love how he points to his receiver, signaling to him to go vertical on this route as he sees all that open space behind his man, and he essentially makes this play happen by the throw he makes, leading him down the football field and essentially throwing his guy open compared to just throwing it when a receiver is open. There's definitely a difference there. This is not an easy play to make, and it really is something that makes him exciting as a quarterback. On this next play, we're going to see him avoid the pressure once again. And here he's going to look down the field. Nobody is really open, but he doesn't panic. He keeps moving. He keeps his eyes down the field. And this is pretty impressive. He is even able to make a defender miss. And then he's just able to get this pass off in time after his wideout found the soft spot in the coverage. And this play essentially just turned into a scramble drill at this point, and I really think this is where Minshew currently has an advantage over Aidan O'Connell, and that is the fact that he can make these type of plays using his legs to create down the field. Compared to with Aidan O'Connell, we haven't really seen that very much in his limited time in the NFL and back to his college days as well. Now, moving forward, let's look at Aidan O'Connell's film. And on this first rep, I mean, with Aidan O'Connell, you have a guy that has a really nice arm and can make difficult throws in tight windows. He can put touch on the ball if he has to as well, like we see in this rep where he has to fit this pass to Jakobi Meyers in between the cornerback and the safety. Aidan O'Connell also isn't afraid to take deep shots when he has a matchup that he likes, as we see here with the Chiefs playing a man-to-man coverage against Jakobi Meyers. He's able to get a slight step on his man, and Aidan O'Connell doesn't hesitate. He chucks this down the field and shows very impressive ball placement once again. Now, in one area that I did notice Aidan O'Connell struggling last season was his pocket awareness. And a lot of times, I mean, we see here he just held onto the ball too long and it just resulted in a turnover off the sack. Now, to be fair, this was his first matchup as a starter, and he did get a little bit better as the season progressed, but I still see it being an issue currently. On this rep, he is able to complete the pass, but he does hold on to the football too long, which gets him hit. And really, if he would have got this pass off sooner to Davante Adams as soon as he came off of his break, he could have gave him an opportunity to make a defender miss. But just after he holds on to the ball too long, as soon as he throws it, he has two guys coming down to make the tackle. But another example of him just holding on to the ball a little bit too long. But on this rep with Aidan O'Connell, he definitely gives you a legit deep ball threat on the play action pass, especially if this is what the Raiders are going to want to do on offense, run the football effectively to hopefully establish the play action pass and take deep shots down the field. And here, this is just a fantastic throw by him. We see him hit Davante Adams 50 yards down the field in stride as well for a huge touchdown pass. This was just a phenomenal throw. Now, here is a rep where Aidan O'Connell was able to use his legs to move outside the pocket, and he finds the open man down the field, even though Trey Tucker was not able to get both feet in bounds. But Aidan O'Connell did his job right here. He did a good job throwing on the move. And really, this is just something that we need to see more frequently from Aidan O'Connell as he develops. If he can get this down, he has a bright future as a quarterback in the NFL. On this rep though, Aidan O'Connell does miss Davante Adams getting open down the field, and really we cannot have him miss this type of throw, especially with this being the biggest strength of his game, and it's essentially those deep passes and the overall arm talent. But it was definitely an unfortunate play and a missed opportunity. And here, once again, Aidan O'Connell gives you the best opportunity to get your speedsters involved. Like we see off the play action, once again, he's going to hit Trey Tucker for a huge gain. And most importantly, he gives him something to run off of. And he doesn't underthrow his wide receiver, which is something really easy to do with these speedsters. If you don't have the arm to keep up with their speed, when you're throwing these type of passes, you want to make sure they don't have to slow down on their routes down the field, especially if they got a step or two on their man. You want to hit them in the stride. That way they can get as many yards as possible or even come up with a touchdown. So overall, Raider Nation, I think this is going to be a very competitive and interesting quarterback battle this offseason for the Las Vegas Raiders. On the one hand, Aidan O'Connell gives you higher upside with him being younger. So he definitely has more potential, and he gives you a better overall threat to get the ball down the field vertically. And I would say he has an overall better arm than Minshew does when it comes to just his overall arm strength and just the overall arm talent. Now, Gardner Minshew's game isn't really revolved around being a deep thrower down the field, but where I would say Minshew has an edge over Aidan O'Connell is the overall mobility he brings to this offense. Minshew has shown that he can use his legs to avoid pass rushers and create plays down the field off of this. He can also use his legs to get first downs and potentially touchdowns inside the red zone here and there, which is something I really haven't seen much from Aidan O'Connell. Not saying that he can't do it eventually, but we haven't seen it as of yet. And another factor too for Gardner Minshew is the fact that he's more experienced in the NFL, being in the league since 2019. And with both of them coming into a new system and a new playbook, I gotta give Minshew a slight edge over O'Connell in this aspect. He's already experienced what it's like to have to learn a new system and a new playbook. Now, O'Connell does have more familiarity and chemistry with most of our receivers on the roster, but still, with Gardner Minshew just being in the league for longer, seeing more NFL defenses, and just having a longer period in the NFL, I think this is just a slight edge. So I don't know, it's pretty interesting to see who we end up going with. I mean, to me, Minshew is going to be a guy that's more like a West Coast style offense, more shorter passes, more bootlegs. Now, he can throw it down the field here and there, but that's mainly what I see with Minshew. Compared to with O'Connell though, he's a lot more of a traditional pocket passer. His mobility is questionable, but he has the arm talent advantage over him. And I think he'd be a more reliable and consistent thrower of the football down the field, especially off play action passes. But when it comes to who will be the starter moving forward, it's an interesting topic. And one thing I do got to mention is the fact that Antonio Pierce at one point did mention this about Aidan O'Connell prior to the draft. He was quoted as saying, at the end of the day, listen, Aidan O'Connell played his ass off. He did a hell of a job for us. You're talking about a kid that has mental toughness to play in the NFL. And whatever happens, whatever we do, it has to go through Aidan O'Connell, being honest with you, because he's earned that right. So Antonio Pierce essentially hinted that Aidan O'Connell will be the quarterback one and that the job goes through him. But that does not necessarily mean that he will be named the starter week one, because AOC could be QB1 heading into training camp. But I seriously think Gardner Minshew will make a run to become a starter. I think it's going to be a competitive quarterback battle, but it does seem like this is Aidan O'Connell's job to lose. And another factor to consider as well with the quarterback situation here is if the Raiders went ahead and started Aidan O'Connell week one, and let's say down the road we go on a 2-3 game losing streak, the offense looks bad. If Aidan O'Connell gets benched at that point, that could be a huge detriment to his overall confidence and progression as a young quarterback. It's kind of like that thought process of you never want to bench your franchise quarterback, and if you do bench him, that's essentially admitting that he's not the future of the team. So I think that's something to take into consideration. Like if the job is close between them two and they're having a hard time deciding who's going to be the quarterback week one, I wouldn't be surprised if they lean towards Gardner Minshew, because with Gardner Minshew, at least we know he's a journeyman. We know he's not going to be our franchise quarterback. He's not going to be the future of the position. And if you went ahead and started Minshew week one, and at some point in the season, the offense stalls, and you want to turn it over to Aidan O'Connell, nobody's going to really blink an eye at something like that. It really wouldn't be a big deal compared to if Aidan O'Connell got benched. That could be the end for his overall confidence as the franchise quarterback moving forward. But it's definitely going to be a very interesting battle for the quarterback 1 position. But Raider Nation, I definitely want to get your guys' feedback in that comment section down below. What do you guys think about the quarterback situation? Do you think it's going to be Aidan O'Connell? Do you think it's going to be Gardner Minshew? Who do you prefer? Who do you think would be better for this offense? You know, let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that's all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.